doused it with water. And that's what you do when you have curly hair. You get it wet as much as possible. And now we're live. We're live here on Instagram also. We're live on YouTube. We're live every day from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Aristotle Full Throttle, where we talk about movies and we joke and we have a good time and we relax. We have a conversation in the chat rooms, various chat rooms, one on YouTube, AristotleFullThrottle.com. And if you go there and subscribe, once I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a PS5 because I figured the PS5 is going to come out before I get to 10,000. But if we get to 10,000, before then, you have your choice of a PS5 or a PS4. Whatever you want. Whatever you can get whatever you like. That's how we do it here, guys. But you got to comment. You got to subscribe to my channel, AristotleFullThrottle.com. Subscribe. Go watch my videos. Comment away. Comment away. And then once you do that, that'll qualify you to win. This is a simple process. Subscribe, comment, potentially win. Hello, 13. Hello, Mom. Hello, Ismael. Today on Aristotle Full Throttle, we are talking about the future of the DC universe. Of course, we all know about Marvel, the MCU, owned by Disney. Marvel has 22 movies in the MCU right now. The 23rd coming out, the Black Widow solo flick starring our favorite Scarlett Johansson. If Scarlett was Johan's, it should be Scarlett Johan's daughter. That's if she's truly Icelandic. But you know who is Icelandic? Bjork. I say Bjork, but it's Bjork. Her last name. Here's a fun fact for you guys. This is why you come here to watch Aristotle Full Throttle, because I rattle off crazy little fun, random ass facts like this one. If you are in Iceland, the phone book in Iceland is different than American or any other normal human being phone book. Because it's difficult to look someone up. Because if you are a daughter of somebody, you are their so-and-so's daughter. If you are the son of somebody, you are the first name of your father and then son, Sen. So like for instance, if my father was named Johann, I would be Aristotle Johansson. If I was Johann's daughter, I'd be if I had a girl's name, what's a girl's name? Let's say it's Sally. If I was Sally Johans, I'd be Sally Johans' daughter. Not Sally Johansson, I'd be Sally Johansson's daughter. Isn't that funny? There's Bjork's real last name. It's Gordman's daughter. Bjork Gordman's daughter. So her dad's name is Gordman. Which, by the way, is a terrible name. What a stupid, goofy name that guy has. It's very long. It has extra letters in it, and it sounds like it's from an old time, maybe 2,000 years ago. What a crazy name. Why would someone go around with a name like that? Said Aristotle Full Throttle. On Friday's show, where we're talking about the future of the DCEU universe, the cinematic universe that DC and Warner Brothers has created. And remember, like I said yesterday, Warner Brothers. If you see the cops coming, Warner Brothers. So you know what? Superman, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Deadshot, who has been recast by Idris Elba. Idris Elba is now the new Will Smith, apparently. Interchangeable, obviously. And Batman's, we gonna have a whole new future. Guess what? Also, Ruby Rose left. She's not gonna be Batwoman anymore. So what are they even gonna do? She's the main character. Ruby Rose was Batwoman for one season, and they were like, she's openly lesbian character. She is Batwoman in real life. She plays Batwoman. Batwoman is a lesbian character. And now that and then she's like, okay, now I'm done. I'm leaving. So what happened there, guys? What happened there? How do you get your own show, groundbreaking TV show, and then leave it? Something is a rotten foot. I don't know Shakespeare. Something about Denmark and something being rotten. Things are rotten. I smell a rat. Perhaps there's something going on at Warner Brothers where Ruby Rose is like, I ain't having that. Or there was some kind of negotiation that didn't happen. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. Do you? Just turn it up the volume here a little bit so you can hear me better. I'm sure this is much better, guys. The way I turn up my volume is I push more air through my throat. So today, Superman. Do you guys want to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman? How about you, Ismail Kulia? How about you? I would. Why not? It would keep some continuity. It would keep some feeling of, like, perhaps these last 10 years of movies that DC has created aren't just for naught. Who knows? But, you know, every day is a new day. Every Batman is a new Batman. You're going to be Batman one day. Everybody gets their chance to be Batman. That's what I say. You know what? That's what I say. I always say, always be yourself. Unless you could be Batman. Then be Batman. That's a good joke I heard one time, and I just repeated it for you. Bjork, though, that's a pretty good choice. If I could be Bjork, I would be Bjork. Why not? Singing like that? Yes. Thank you, 13, for chiming in. Henry Cavill, I don't know how to say it, but he does seem to really like to play that role, and he's been owning it, particularly in these last few movies. Well, I mean, it's just frustrating because I think that the Superman character has never fully been realized. However, he's good in the role because he's a decent actor, and he looks like Superman. But there's a lot of people who could look like Superman, to be honest. I always find it funny that Henry Cavill is from the UK and he plays the most American of superheroes. Truth, justice, and the American way, and the UK way. That would be like an American playing Captain Britain or something. Captain Britain is a real comic book character based on, guess who? Pretty much the equivalent of Captain America, but, for Britain. The British folks, I'll tell you something about Britain. It's an island, Britannia, I think it's called. And it's got different nations, which are groups of people, but they all fall under the United Kingdom. It's very complicated, guys. You got to know your world geography and different stuff like that, and anthropology. You don't got to. You just got to know your living room at this point, and maybe your kitchen. You got to know what's in your fridge, because then you got to use up that food. You don't want it to get old. You don't want to be making French cooking. French food is based on rotten food. I said it. You guys can take that however you want. But listen, French toast, that's because the bread was crusty. They were like, how do we reuse this bread? It's a week old. Someone was like, why don't we fry it up with some eggs? That sounds like a good idea. It'll kill anything that's growing on it. Snails? Who eats snails if you can't find anything else? The French. There's two things that I hate most in this world. One is people who don't respect other people's cultures, and two is the French. That is a modified quote from Austin Powers. 3, gold member. I was quoting. What we do here is we always give credit where credit's due. We don't steal jokes on Aristotle Full Throttle. We recycle and then credit. We have an annotated system in which we have a bibliography where you can go to the glossary and find out where all these jokes come from. Some of them even come from my head. What's up, Applejacks 325? We were waiting for you this whole time. Now we can begin. Today we're talking about the DCEU, the future of all these types of movies with Wonder Womans and Aquamans and Supermans and Batmans. And I think the Flash is out. Ezra Miller got kicked. He got tossed out on his ear. He's been thrown into a different universe, that guy, because apparently he abuses his people in his life, and that's not good. You don't want someone like that around. There are some people in this world, people, we're about to get real for 3 seconds here. There are some people in this world who do not respect your boundaries. There are some people in this world who do not, they don't appreciate other human beings, only themselves. So you got to watch out for people like that. You got to watch out for people who are only use other people as an ends to their own means, and that's usually for abuse and all sorts of stuff like that. So I think here at Aristotle Full Throttle, we're going to dedicate part of the show, part of some of what you guys can be more aware of and contribute to, or like abuse hotlines and stuff like that, because people endure this crap and they don't have to, and it's really difficult. So Ezra Miller got fired on account of his being an abuser. This is why I don't like people. Listen, I don't like what's his name, Chris Brown. I will never like Chris Brown. I don't care how many people tell me how good he is. People are like, Chris Brown, but he's a good dancer and he could sing good. And like, I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. If you brutalize another human being the way he brutalized Rihanna, there's never any reason for that. So when I see that, whenever I think of Chris Brown, I just think of that picture of Rihanna got all beat up, and I'm like, there's no reason I ever have to pay that guy any mind. So people like that, they can go throw themselves in a dumpster and light it aflame for all I care. Getting back to Superman. Remember that part? Am I looking forward to Robert Pattinson as Batman? Great question, 13. I am. I think he's a pretty good choice. He's got that brooding darkness about him. He's got that inner turmoil that you kind of need. The dude seems bothered. He always seems bothered by something. And if this guy's always bothered and deeply troubled, that's the kind of vibe you want for a Bruce Wayne. And I think he'll pull it off. I think he's got a interesting beat-up looking face. But, you just put the cowl over that and you're fine. The Batmobile looks pretty cool. I like the idea that Matt Reeves, the guy who's directing that movie, is taking the whole approach that it's a film noir. He's making a film noir out of Batman. He's taking the old style of private detective movies and applying that to Batman, which, by the way, was the original version of Batman in the detective, I forgot what they're called, like Detective Comics or something. But in the original comic books that Batman originally appeared in, he was just a detective who dressed up like a bat. Which, if he's good, you don't question it. I mean, Sherlock Holmes wore a funny hat, smoked a pipe. You're just like, all right, nice hat. Can you help solve this crime, bro? Sure. If they're a genius like Batman, a genius private detective or detective, Detective Comics, that's what it was. You need this guy, so you'll tolerate his choice of attire, even if it's bat-like during a coronavirus situation. I'll tell you something though. I like the idea of Batman truly solving a really cool, complex crime. I want to see a mystery. All of the Batman movies have some element of mystery, or at least some element of mystery where Batman has to try to resolve and figure out what's going on. He's got to undo the Riddler's riddles. He's got to figure out a deep, layered situation because he's trying to catch the bad guys. But I like the idea of watching a movie where the audience is also in the dark about what's going on necessarily. There's no apparent plan made by a villain that's like, my plan is to poison the water supply of Gotham and then make everybody go crazy and see bats coming out of my mouth. Scarecrow. Paul Dano as the Riddler is going to be amazing. I'll tell you something. Paul Dano is like my little brother. Or at least when I was a kid. So the first movie I ever worked on was a movie called LIE. And that's the first movie Paul Dano ever worked on. And he was about 15, 16 years old. And I was about 20. So 21, 22. And it was pretty cool because I got to work with these young actors. I was a PA. And I felt like a camp counselor because we shot it during the summer. So when there was downtime, we would just all hang out, play guitar. It felt like a freaking summer camp. And Paul Dano was like one of my little buddies on that movie, and it's so cool to see him as a Hollywood A-lister now. He is the Riddler. The cops are coming. There they go. They're gonna catch him. So that's pretty cool to see Paul Dano doing that. I actually went to Sundance with Paul Dano and them back in the day, way back in the day, to go see LIE. That was before Michael Cuesta even invented Dexter. Michael Cuesta, director of LIE, also created Dexter, the TV show, which I thought was pretty fun. And I was trying to explain the show Dexter to my brother the other day, and I was like, yeah, it's about like a serial killer. And he's like, yeah, I tried to watch it. It's really difficult for me to get into the premise. And I'm like, I understand that. When you tell people in the abstract the premise of the show Dexter, and you're like, it's about a serial killer, but he's like a good serial killer. He only kills the bad guys, but he has to kill people. and somehow you try to explain this premise to people who haven't seen the show. They make their own judgment on it, and then they stick with their judgment. They're like, well, if you watch that show, you must be crazy. And I'm like, it was like the #1 show for years, and I used to talk about this show with all my coworkers every Monday morning. and all my coworkers were like counselors and case managers and therapists at the time. And we all just liked the show because it's just a good show. It's just a good show. It's a good premise. But sometimes people are like, oh, you must be crazy if you watch a show about a serial killer. And I'm like, hey, but it's not really. It's like he's like a good guy. He's like a Batman, but by the time it gets to the end of each episode, you want to see that person die, and you're glad they don't. Like, it's just good writing. If you could write a situation where you could get there, you get from A to Z, and then we're on board with you, that's cool. I like it. Like the movie Sleepers. Remember the movie Sleepers? How much did you want to see Kevin Bacon get killed in that movie? A lot. You wanted to see that a lot. So it was pretty excellent. How much did you feel that the cognitive dissonance that Robert De Niro's priest was feeling in that movie Sleepers? Like, well, I'm a priest. I'm supposed to do things the right way, but if you murder this guy, I won't say anything. It's pretty good movie. So I'm just saying, good writing can compel you to go along with your protagonist no matter what the circumstances, depending on how it's all framed. That's what I say a thing, and then we boil it down to what the hell I'm trying to say. And that's what I'm trying to say, guys. It's really important that you do that with your characters. If you're thinking about writing or you're thinking about being a creative person, realize the perspective. Realize what perspective you have. Moral relativity. That's what it's about. Is it? Not really. Is there a fundamental moral system? I think Superman thinks so, and it's the American way. Hey, Angelo. Welcome to Aristotle Full Throttle. Good afternoon. We talk every day about movies here on Instagram and on YouTube, and soon to be on other platforms once I can figure all that stuff out. It's all very technologically difficult. If you are someone like me who just refuses to get any kind of instruction on anything and tries to learn everything by yourself, eventually you do, and you do it in a weird way that's all backwards and probably not proper at all. Like the way I edit my shows on my channel, I have no idea really how to edit. I just figured it out. I felt my way through the process and developed my own style. But if you were to hire me as an editor on a movie, I would not know what the hell's going on. I'd be like, I don't know. Just do the thing. I don't know anything. Why are you asking me? Hey, Pender6035, we're talking about movies. We're talking about the future of the DCEU. Do you want to see Jason Momoa back as Aquaman? Maybe. I saw that dude one time on the street. I was just up the street a mile over at the Upright Citizens Brigade Franklin Theater, right across the street from the Scientology Celebrity Center, which, by the way, I can talk trash about because it's hilarious. Let me first tell you about my encounter with Jason Momoa. I was waiting online to go see a Upright Citizens Brigade free $5 show because I was taking Upright Citizens Brigade classes, and then you get like a pass and you get to see shows for free. And I was going to see that show, and it was funny because Jason Momoa was walking by. And the dude is gigantic. So I'm a 6'3" individual. I'm a tall person. I'm a large man. I'm a size large man. And he is a size extra large. He might even be XXL. The dude is a gigantic, huge human being who is freakishly large. it doesn't really come across, I don't think, maybe in like movies or something, but I could have worn Jason Momoa as a Jason Momoa suit. Like if I hollowed out his body, I could just put him on and disguise myself. If I was an alien, like in Men in Black, like the centipede alien, I could inhabit his body with my full body because he's one size larger. He's a one size larger man than I am. I'm already a size large man. I found that I was like, cool. Aquaman is pretty intimidating, even though in the comic books he's not. He talks to fish. Dude talks to fish for a living. That's his special power. It's like, what could we do now, Aquaman? Kansas is burning to the ground, Aquaman. He's like, hang on. Let me get some jellyfish. Hang on. I'll be right back. I have to walk to the ocean because I can't fly or anything. I'll be back. I'm Aquaman. I'll have a bunch of jellyfish with me when I return. Maybe 2 handfuls of jellyfish. Aquaman. That's his special power. Angelo says, I'm okay with him being Aquaman. I met him twice here in New Orleans. Tell me if I'm saying this right, Angelo. It's spelled Neworleans, but I say Nolans. I don't know if that's correct. But I love me some Nolans, by the way. I've been to Nolans. I know I'm butchering it, but I've been to your city. I won't say it anymore, just spare everybody's ears. I have been there 4 times. And every time I'm there, I'm like, I love this place. This place feels like a real culture is going on in America. It feels like so much of America is strip malls and homogenization. But when you go to Narlands, you're like, I feel like I am in a deep culture world. There's music, there's food, there's drink, there's vibes. You walk down the street and you hear music, like ragtime music or whatever. You hear that music and then it starts to fade away, and then you hear other music, and it's all live music. You walk down the street, you hear like, I was just singing the Star Wars, and then you walk down the street and they hear like, that's the music in Return of the Jedi that they added, which was terrible. Sorry. I'm not saying that New Orleans is terrible music. I'm saying it's excellent music. The musicians down there are incredible. The music is actually based on the fact that it's so humid down there that the horns will bend. You have to constantly adjust your horns and your instruments because they will go out of tune a little bit. So they actually incorporate that leeway in the music. If you're a musician, you might understand a little bit more what I'm talking about, but there's like a lot of blue notes and bendy notes in the music and quavering tones in music that is played and originates from New Orleans. Jazz, obviously. Jazz is between New Orleans and Chicago. Mississippi River go up and down it. That's where the people would play and learn music and play jazz and all that stuff and learn it. And the culture exchange between Chicago and New Orleans is actually remarkable. I could go on, and I am going on. Here's the correct pronunciation. Ange has corrected me. It's New Orleans. New Orleans. New Orleans. Thank you. I know so much about New Orleans because I like New Orleans a lot. Out of the cities that I have toured and played music in this country, out of the cities that I've visited in this country, which are many, I visited 46 states out of 50. I got 4 more to go, and if you guys can guess, drop those in the comments, drop those in the chat room. I would like to see if you can guess the 4 states that I have not been to yet. But I do love New Orleans. I do love Louisiana. My band had a song that was #1 in, it was either Baton Rouge or Lafayette. I cannot remember, but it was one of those, is it Lafayette? That's Georgia. What's the city? Baton Rouge. Wait, let me see. There's a poster up there that might have it there. It was not Lafayette, I'm sorry. It was Baton Rouge. That's French for red baton. They I had a song from a band that was number one there. It's called All For You. You could Google it. It's a pretty good song. I like it. I'm very biased, though, having co-written it. So, guys, this country is so big and beautiful, and New Orleans is great and full of culture. I highly suggest you go visit it. It is incredible. Every time I've been there, I've been super happy with everything that I ate and saw. It depends on which time of year you go, because some times of year you might see more boobs than you're planning on seeing. But that's just a fringe benefit. That's just a French benefit. Lafayette. Okay. Tell us, Angelo, how do you like New Orleans? Because I love it. I love that place. It's the only place with like real culture in this country, I feel like. There's very few out of the cities that I've been to. There are 2 or 3 musical cities. I would say 2 musical, maybe 3 musical cities that I've been to. 4 maybe. But the 2 most musical cities in the United States, New Orleans, Nashville. Those are the 2. 1, 2. Three-dimensional loser. I am a fan of those 2 cities. Incredibly musical. And Chicago is also very musical. Portland and Seattle, very musical. LA and New York, obviously, are the cradle of music here. And then you have Miami. Miami is like an incredible music town, too. Because you got all that Caribbean and Cuban music that just is incredible. If you guys seen the Buena Vista Social Club, it's a movie about all these musicians from the mid 20th century who were not allowed to play jazz but played it anyway in underground clubs in Cuba, communist Cuba. Incredible movie. Buena Vista Social Club. When I see those musicians play, they were about 80 when they filmed that. The movie's about 20 years old. These guys, like, listen, musicians who play their whole lives only get better all the way up until the point they are dead. That's the cool thing. They may not be as technically proficient, let's say, as they get into their old age, and perhaps like musicians like Les Paul, who invented the electric guitar and multi-track recording. That guy was an incredible guitar player, jazz guitar player. But by the time he was very old, he had so much arthritis in his hands that his hands were so gnarled, but he could still play incredibly beautiful music because of his sensibilities and his choices and his inner rhythm that just only gets better all the way up until you croak. So as a musician, I encourage that you constantly learn and constantly get better and constantly realize that sometimes more notes is not better, faster is not better. The right feeling and the right vibe is the most important thing in all of music. That, and if there are I just censored myself. I shouldn't censor myself at this. I was going to say if that, and you need lots of rapping. I'm joking. Rapping is great. There's an incredible rapper, singer, musician right now that I think you should all listen to, and his name is Anderson .Paak. He's been out for about 5 years, like going pretty strong, but I think he's going to get huge soon. The dude is incredible. He's an incredible musician, plays drums and sings and raps and sings and raps. Incredible. Check him out. Baton Rouge is the capital. Okay, I lived in Tennessee after Katrina and was secretly, I agree, Nashville is just as musical. Don't tell nobody I said that. Listen, your secret is safe with me and us and Jen. Oh, yeah. Nashville's like, it's kind of secretly everybody's amazing there. Everybody's an amazing musician in Nashville. It's incredible. Like, they're just all secretly. Someone's going to be pouring your coffee in a coffee shop. Meanwhile, they're like the greatest bass player you'll ever meet. It's kind of insane. It's just, but most people go to Nashville. I feel like if you live in New Orleans, you grow up in that culture. You're deeply braised in the music and the culture and the stylings and the feeling of the vibe of what's created down there. When you go to Nashville, you're like an incredible musician who wants to go and record and write songs. And Nashville is good for that. Recording, writing songs, getting better at your instrument. If you are not a top-notch instrumentalist, get the F out of Nashville. Don't even play. Don't even pose, because people will spot you from a mile away and be like, this dude don't even know his circle of fifths. Get him out of here. So that's why I'm always trying to learn. Always trying to learn more music. Get better at it. Learn about things. Always learn, guys. Life is what you do. You just keep learning and learning and learning, and then you die. It's great. It's a great thing. Yeah, and Jen, I don't know what's going on with people forgetting all about Anderson .Paak, but they're going to know soon, I think. I think he's very much like Bruno Mars. I don't say he's like very much like Bruno Mars. He's very much like himself. I'm saying that Bruno Mars came out and it took Bruno Mars like 5 years before people were like, oh, Bruno Mars, he's like a tour de force. This guy is like an incredible musician, performer that we should be paying attention to. That in that sense, he's like Bruno Mars, where he's got the ability to be a mega star and just be incredibly soulful and incredibly musically gifted and take that to a level. And he's got the drive. And I'm saying this also because I have a personal connection to Anderson .Paak because we did a commercial earlier this year, which was fun. And I got to meet the guy, and he's a very ambitious dude and a very hilarious guy, by the way. Follow his Instagram. He is freaking hilarious. Do not follow me. I'm serious. What's up? Welcome. We're just talking about Anderson .Paak and the DC Universe, which all contain heroics. Musical heroics, theatrical heroics, and poetic and prose heroics. Heroics. That's what's happening. We talk about the DC Universe, guys. I'd like to see Henry Cavill come back. I'd like to see him do it one more time. I think everybody would. I think people want to see Henry Cavill. He had so much goodwill given to him when he became Man of Steel. We were like, yeah, this is going to be cool. And it was pretty cool, except it was like not cool in a lot of ways too. Man of Steel just fails in so many areas that make me angry. It's an inconsistent movie. I do like the first 10 minutes, though, that all take place on Krypton. An incredible sequence. It's cool to see Krypton as an actual living, breathing planet other than just like ice crystals. Just crystals, people walking around in robes. No flora, no fauna, just ice. That's boring, man. I don't like that. You need Jor-El riding a flying dinosaur. That's cool. I'm down with that. I'd like to see more of that before their planet explodes. Interestingly enough, I think that you could draw a parallel between Henry Cavill coming back to play Superman and Ewan McGregor coming back to play Obi-Wan Kenobi. They just have so much goodwill. Even if if you're like me, you don't like the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. If you're like me, you think they're bad. If you're anything like me, you think the Star Wars prequels should get curled up, put in a blender, and then after the blender, set on fire and thrown into a river. If you're anything like me about the Star Wars prequels. But the one thing you would save, the one thing you would pluck out of that bag is Ewan McGregor. Everyone's like not everyone. Listen, if you are like Jimmy James Cordova, who I don't see if he's here today, but shout out to Jimmy James Cordova. You like Star Wars and you like it no matter what. Perfectly fine. Okay. I like oatmeal cream pies. I acknowledge that they are garbage, but I love them. And you can't tell me I can't. That's like me and Jimmy James. We got the things we like, and you can't even take that away from me. And that's the beauty of it. You don't take this shit away from people. People enjoy it. You give them more. They like it. It's what they like. And if you like that kind of thing, I guess that's the kind of thing you like. I don't think anyone's ever said it any better. But you know, Ewan McGregor, we could save. I think there's almost a universal reaction that's like, oh, Star Wars prequels, those are terrible. But Ewan McGregor was good though. Good choice. Good choice for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Played it well. Believed him. He made it his own. So there's really like two Obi-Wans in our minds. There's that version of the young version who is realized by Ewan McGregor, who as a good actor approached it from that. He's like, this is a different character. This is a younger version. This stuff has not yet changed him to become the old Alec Guinness version of Obi-Wan. Apparently, who's only like 15, 17 years older than Obi-Wan is at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So Obi-Wan aged like 4 decades in 2. Pretty interesting. I guess that's some desert living. My thickest New Orleans accent. I don't am like Superman, and I want to see Henry as Superman one more time again. I edited again. I'm trying to say that as if I was from New Orleans. I don't even like Superman, and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to hear it in my head first. And I want to see Henry, right? It would be Henry as Superman one more time again. I always like, that was pretty good. It was almost as good as Jean-Claude Van Damme in Ma Mama Took One. What was that movie called? Hard Target? You guys remember that? Please try not. What was that movie? Hard Target, right? I think it's called Hard Target. Hard Target's just coming to me. I don't know why. Yeah, it's Hard Target. That's the best because he plays a Belgian guy, and the Belgians speak French, so he's got to have like a French Creole French situation accent from New Orleans in that movie. And then there's a funny part of the movie in the trailer that I always make fun of because I cannot understand. I laughed so hard when I heard him talking like that with his mullet and his accent, because it was so funny when he was like, they're like, what's your name? He's like, Chance. They're like, why is your name Chance? He said, because my mama took one. He's talking about on his life, you know. Because my mama took one. That was almost perfect. I'm gonna talk like I'm from New Orleans for the rest of the show. I'm gonna just channel what his name from that show that he was a cooking show, and he say that old guy that was like, he did the Cajun cooking. He had a big old belly, and he would be on the PBS, and he would throw some spices. He would throw some spices in there and say it was sweet. I'm just gonna talk like that for the rest of my life. Actually, I think that's the way I'm to go. Cajun cooking show. Remember that show from the 90s? What his name? Justin Wilson. Wee! I just got like violently ill inside after trying to do that. Sorry, guys. I guarantee. That guy was pretty amazing. Oh man, he would put so much butter in the food. You guys remember that? He'd be like, now what we gonna do is we gonna make a salad, but we gonna put some butter in that salad. We gonna drizzle some lard on that salad, and then maybe we gonna put some honey in it. And after we put some honey and some salt in that salad, we gonna put some lard and pour some buttermilk in it. And you're just like, what kind of salad are you making, Justin? Now by judging your physique, Justin, I'm thinking this is not the healthiest food. He did get healthier when he got older, though. No, he looked pretty good. He wasn't like, the guy just liked to eat, man. I like to eat. Me and Justin, we was best friends in the 90s. Me and him, we was cooking salad. He's like, today we're gonna make a lentil soup. The lentil soup gonna have some lentils in it. It's gonna have some animal fat. We're gonna get some gristle, and we're gonna put some giblets in there. Today we're gonna make a vegetarian We're gonna make a string bean casserole. We're gonna put 5 pounds of cheese in there. We're gonna put some we're gonna put some straight butter, 3 pounds of butter. That dude, man, I tell you, my favorite. Make some onion. Yeah, some onion. Remember that? That guy loved onion. I sound like Bobby Boucher, even though I'm trying to be that. Krypton, the TV series, is pretty good. This is what Dooney says. Dooney said, that Krypton show, I sure do like that Krypton show. We just catching up on some Justin Wilson here. Sorry. We just hungry. We all hungry. We hungry for some Justin Wilson. I mean, that is just too fun. You guys in New Orleans must be having so much fun talking the way you do. Y'all be talking like that. I love it. It sounds like music to my ears. It just sounds like fun and happy talk. Everybody just having a good time. We're having a good time here on our Thought of Full Throttle. We're going to talk like this for the rest of the show. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add... I sound like... I'm totally like Big Papi, you know. I'm turning into... Kenan Thompson's Big Papi now. We're going to have some mofongo. We're going to have some chicharron. We're going to have some... we're going to have some ceviche. Imagine Justin Wilson and Kenan Thompson's Big Papi having a cooking show together, man. Oh, good golly, I would just be filled with joy all day long and all night long. I haven't seen this TV show, Dooney, about Krypton, the TV series. I do want to see it. I did hear about it a lot. I do want to see what it's like to live on Krypton, even though nobody got some special powers because they got a boring old red sun over on Krypton. Boring. Ain't gonna get no superpowers from no red sun. What they trying to do, even? That's lame. You need a yellow sun. You need a yellow sun, son. Everybody know that. Get that yellow sun. Get strong from it. Superman recharging in the atmosphere like this. He'd be like dead. He'd be all shriveled up. Shriveled up looking like Bizarro and stuff. And he like this. Oh, let me get some sun. I just need to lay out. Superman just need to lay out for 5 hours. Get a nice tan. Super tan. That's what they call him. Good God. I'd like to see Superman and Black Panther team up. How about that? That'd be an interesting thing. Imagine Superman try to punch Black Panther in his suit. He'd punch the suit would just absorb the power, and then Black Panther could punch Superman back, and it would be like Superman punched himself. That's what I think would happen. I absolutely think that would happen. Yeah. I absolutely 100% think that's a real, genuine possibility. And I'd watch that all day and all night. Krypton, the series, I haven't seen it. I don't know. Is that part of the DCEU? I know that they're trying to do like all these different parallel universes in the DC universe. There's the Flash TV show, and that exists in simultaneity with the Flash movie guy, Ezra Miller. Ezra visited the TV show Flash because it's just a parallel universe. So the DC universes are just all existing at the same time, whereas the Marvel universes, which the Marvel universes might change, guys, because of course we know that the next Doctor Strange movie is called and the Parallel Universe Infinite Madness or something. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think it's called, which has been taken over by Sam Raimi. How excited are we about that? I think that's a really good choice. Sam Raimi, the guy who kind of started this whole thing off with his Spider-Man movies, legitimized the whole and mainstreamized to a high level, because Spider-Man was like the highest grossing movie ever when it came out. Sam Raimi is kind of the granddaddy of all this. So if he comes back and does a movie like Doctor Strange, which is so up his alley, because Sam Raimi's got a really cool visual style that we love in his movies like The Evil Dead 2 and in Spider-Man 2, where the birth of Dr. Octopus is such a cool, very signature Sam Raimi style of filmmaking. Just like that fast motion weirdness and these zoom shots and everybody's face with the light underneath. And there's just such a stylized way of making movies, which is his signature. And it's cool. It's cool because it feels like a voice in film. And I would like to see that voice applied to the Doctor Strange property. I think that would be really cool. Cracking Anja O up over there. Yeah, I do sound like Bobby Boucher a bit. Krypton Season 1 is on the DC app. It's really interesting. Such a shame it was canceled. Yeah, I did hear that it was canceled. So you don't think that... So Do Not Serious doesn't think that the suit could handle a punch from Superman. But Do Not Follow Me, I'm serious. We're talking about whether or not Black Panther's suit would handle a punch from Superman. First of all, we'd have to merge the two universes, which has happened in the comics. But doesn't Black Panther's suit absorb all of the energy because it's made of vibranium? It reflects its particular design made by Shuri means that not only does it reflect the exact amount of power that it impacts it, but his suit literally absorbs it, charges it, and releases it when upon his will and command. So he could get charged up by a punch from Superman. This is a good question. This is a debate for today, guys. Do Not Follow Me, I'm serious, thinks that Superman's punch would be way too much for Black Panther's suit to handle. I don't think so. Changed my mind. I think Superman's punch, that's the problem. Superman would have to think of a different way, because if he were to just use brute force against Black Panther's suit, if he were to just punch the suit would absorb, save up that energy to the point where Black Panther could reuse that energy and apply it on Superman. That's what I think. I think that's what's so special about Black Panther's suit. It can absorb that level of punishment. K-Ferg, what's up? So excited about Raimi doing that. I hope Bruce Campbell gets a cameo. Oh, you know Bruce Campbell going to be in that. You know Bruce Campbell going to have a role in that. Maybe he comes back as Mysterio in some kind of way, in some multiverse version, because I know Mysterio was played by Jake Gyllenhaal in Far From Home. But what if his Mysterio is in one of the parallel universes? What if the Spider-Man... What's his name? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. What if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man shows up in the multiverse of madness? I think that's a perfect situation. I really do. Hang on, I got it. Sorry, I'm just a little sidetracked here. Sorry, guys. Back. I'm back. Mentally back. This is like our lives, guys. Sorry, I'm like that guy that's like, hang on a second, let me just do this thing. Even during a live show. Even during a live stream, I'm that guy. We're all that guy. But I'm waiting for your answers to come in. Didn't Thanos beat the kinetic energy out of them in the Infinity Wars? Yeah, he does just punch him once, and he just falls to the ground. But that's a good question, Duty. Does Thanos' power, is that more than Superman's power because he has the Power Stone? Does the Power Stone contain more power in it than Superman? Because remember, in Endgame, it was a brilliant move because Thanos is a brilliant tactician. He's a brilliant strategist. He's a genius. Thanos is a genius. That's why he was able to defeat the Hulk with cunning. He doesn't even use the Power Stone. This is a very important detail that the Russo brothers deliberately showed in the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. Thanos has the Power Stone. And if you notice, every time he's using the stones, each stone that he's using, whatever combination of stones that he's using, will glow in each movie. So when he's using the Reality Stone, he goes like this, the red one glows, and the reality changes. If he goes like this, he uses the space stone to change his position in space. That glows, and then he goes through a little wormhole. The cool thing is, when he's fighting the Hulk, when Thanos is fighting Hulk in the very beginning of Avengers Infinity War, do you remember that what's his name? Saw Gerrera, the bad guy, Captain Ebony Maw, is like, oh, let him have his fun. So Thanos is fighting the Hulk, because that was a great line, the recall. We have a Hulk, and the Hulk comes in, he starts punching and smashing. Thanos is just like, oh, I see what's going on here. We're doing hand-to-hand combat. I am an expert in that. I'm not even going to use the Power Stone against the Hulk. I'm just going to use my Kung Fu martial arts mastery over you, Hulk. He's ducking and dodging and hitting Hulk in the weak spots and actually gets the better of the Hulk, uses Hulk's strength against the Hulk, frickin' body slams the Hulk. We're like, what the hell just happened? Thanos just body slammed the mightiest Avenger, according to the Hulk, and maybe not Thor. But that was impressive. Now, if you do recall, in Avengers Endgame, Captain Marvel, the strongest in the entire Marvel universe, Captain Marvel is trying to get, she's like holding the glove, and then Thanos tries to punch her, and she's just like, I don't even flinch. I'm basically like Superman in Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, when the kryptonite gas wears off and Batman's punching him in the face and then it just stops. She just gets punched, and she's just like, nope, that's not going to work, bro. The Space Stone has made me this way. Or the Mind Stone, I forget which stone gave her powers. But she got knocked the F out by Thanos because he just plucked the Power Stone out of the glove and then punched her with it. And he could only hold it briefly, because remember, you can't really hold a Infinity Stone in your hand for too long without it messing you up real bad. Now here goes the debate. K. Ferg says maybe he could be overloaded, but Soup's power level would have to be translated to Marvel. Interesting thought. That's true. How do we translate those power levels? We have to take the evidence from the last 75 years of Superman versus the evidence of the last 75 years of Marvel and see what relative powers they could have. Has Superman ever moved to the Earth? He moved it backwards. That means he has the power of a planet. I think does Superman have the power of the planet Earth, or does he have the power of the sun? Of the entire sun? Who knows? Couldn't he just melt some of the nanites in the heat vision and weaken it to some point damage just by reaching? That's a good point. I think, yeah, because Black Panther's suit is made of the nanites, the nanobots, which is a really cool workaround for the whole MCU because what happens is they don't have to wear costumes anymore. They could just walk around, and then later on the effects team could just put their masks on. And it's so funny how quickly we got used to that and adapted to the fact that none of the actors need to wear costumes anymore. They're all just CG. Pretty cool. Multiple Spideys showing up in the Doctor Strange 2 would be epic. Yeah, I think they should just go for it. They should bring back Andrew Garfield. They should bring back Tobey Maguire in the multiverse of madness and just go ahead and just be like, Doctor Strange just shows up and then there's like a different Spider-Man every time. And it's every Spider-Man from the last, 20 years or so. Do Not Follow Me, I'm serious, says, what doesn't make sense is that the Hulk one-punched a battleship in the first Avengers movie. Yeah. Does that mean Captain America can take that punch and survive because he can hold Thanos' hand? Who beat the Hulk? Do Not Follow Me, I'm serious. Very excellent point. I see what you're saying there. You know what I love about that scene? Now, Do Not Follow Me, I'm serious is bringing up that scene in Avengers Infinity War when Thanos is making his way toward Vision to pluck the Mind Stone from his brain so that he can complete his collection of beautiful gems and rubies on his glove. He's walking toward Vision, and every single Avenger, one by one, tries to confront him, and he just swats them away as if they are nothing. He just takes Falcon, he's like, pluck. He just takes Black Panther. He's like, pow. he takes Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit and just throws him into a brick wall or the side of a mountain, and he fuses him to it. He does all of these things so quickly and easily, dispatches each one of these people. But I think that particular moment when he goes to do this and Captain America grabs the glove, he's not using any stones. Thanos isn't using any stones in that scene. He's just he looks at Captain America like, oh, this one has heart. This one, he thinks he could stop me, and the fact I could see that like he's toying with Captain America, because Captain America clearly can't hold that hand, but it's in that moment where Thanos realizes Captain America is a guy that's like, hey, I might be smaller than you, but I'm not afraid to lose an ear if we fight. Like, that's the difference between me and you, Thanos. Captain America's got heart. He's got spirit. And that's what Thanos is reacting to in that moment. He's like reacting. He's just kind of looking at him like, oh, this guy, he thinks he's going to be strong enough to, all right. And then he just punches him and kills him. Maybe kills him. Guys, there's a theory that Thanos kills Captain America in that moment. And then Captain America comes back to life because Thanos has to reverse time to reassemble Vision and steal the Mind Stone. Which, by the way, is kind of a life hack. If you can reverse time, I would do that all the time. I would make my tomatoes not moldy again. And I would be like, me and Justin Wilson, we'd be like, these tomatoes, they need to be turned back in time so we could put them in our chicken soup broth. The older comics, it was the power of the sun. Popcorn Passport and Angelo confirm that Superman's power is the level of our sun. Sol, the solar system. He has the full energy and capacity translated. But what happens is, don't turn that sun red. Go take his powers away. Don't even shine the light of a red sun on him, because he will get weak in the knees. These different colors affect Superman. Red kryptonite, red sunlight, green kryptonites, all different kinds of kryptonites. Yes, the look of confusion on Thanos' face, Angelo, in that moment. What's up, Notorious DIT? Got 2 minutes left on the Instagram feed. However, we'll wrap it up over on AristotleFullThrottle.com on my YouTube channel. But we were just talking about Thanos and his recognizing Captain America's gumption, Captain America's moxie, when Cap catches his hand with the glove on it in Avengers Infinity War toward the end of the movie, and Cap is like showing his heart, showing that he's not willing to just give up so easily. He's willing to lay his life down, lay it on the line. And even though Thanos could easily just punch Captain America away, there's a look of like, oh, this one guy right here, this one guy thinks he can stop me. That's cute. He's real strong. I mean, he's kind of like, as I'm pushing on this guy, I could tell that he's like he's applying maximum effort, as Deadpool would say, on my glove right now. I'm gonna take note of this dude, because he's really into this. He's legit. This one guy, this one Captain America dude, he seems to be pretty authentic, which is a good moment. But I think that's what the moment shows. It just shows the spirit of Captain America and how it's unbreakable. Cap's strength is inconsistent, says Notorious DIT. We could talk about that. I think it is. I think it's, I don't know. I don't think he's particularly extra strong in that moment. I think he's just willing to put all of his strength into that moment of holding that glove. And Thanos isn't really bothered too much by it. He's just like, oh, okay, well, this guy's putting up a fight. Let me just punch him out. He kind of takes care of it very quickly. However, that's why, guys, with the 50 seconds left on Instagram, that's why I was incredibly stoked in Avengers Endgame. Because who confronts Thanos at the very end? Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. And as they're all three walking toward Thanos, I was like, This seems like an incredibly uneven battle. It seems like Iron Man has a chance because we saw Iron Man go head-to-head, hand-to-hand combat with Thanos in Infinity War, and we were like, that actually seemed like a pretty good fight. You know, at least he put up a fight. And Thor, perhaps the mightiest of Avengers, don't tell the Hulk that, but Captain America, I was like, how the hell is Captain America even going to be a contender in this match? But sure enough, he was, and we saw why. We saw why because he had a special cheat code that he used. But guys, on Instagram, go over to AristotleFullThrottle.com. I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Guys, the guys on Instagram, they get automatically cut off after an hour. That's all you get is 1 hour of chatting on Instagram. So that gets saved, but we could talk for up to 10 hours here on on YouTube. So we might as well. I want to thank you guys for talking and humoring each other with this. But yeah, Magic, let's see, let's go back. Yeah, that's right. Magic also has the power against Superman, guys. Lest we forget, Magic, if you could just wave a magic wand, you can mess up Superman. So I guess in the Marvel Universe, the deadliest foes to Superman would be what? Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange? Those would be the most threatening to Superman as far as pure strength and being able to overcome him. Also, I don't know, Tony Stark's pretty smart. Is Tony smart as Batman? That, in some universe other than this one, actually translates to something in English. K. Ferg, Thanos talks about respecting Stark. I bet he held the same respect for Cap, so that's why he toyed with him a little. I completely agree. And K. Ferg, you know why? That's why it's such a great moment in I keep saying Captain America. In Avengers Infinity War. That's a great moment when he's like, oh, Stark. And he's like, you know me? Stark says, you know me? He says, yeah, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge. Because Thanos is a genius strategist. Thanos is a warrior. He's a genius. He's cunning. And he's like, I got defeated in the Battle of New York. And I got defeated particularly by this one dude named Tony Stark. I'm going to find out about this guy and figure out how to beat him. And that's why when they finally meet, see, Tony Stark didn't know he was fighting Thanos ultimately. He thought he was just defeating Loki in Avengers. But the grand master of all that, the puppet master, the guy pulling the strings we saw at the very end of Avengers was Thanos. That was the first appearance of Thanos in this whole incredibly executed universe. I thought that was impressive. Most impressive. Thanos tells, yeah. So I think Thanos knows, as a brilliant strategist and technician and tactician, I think that Thanos is like, my biggest threat in this entire universe, the only person to destroy an entire army of mine, you know, with the help of his friends, he had a little help from his friends, was this dude named Tony Stark. And I need to, and on Earth, on the planet Earth, if I'm going to invade the planet Earth, I need to look out for Tony Stark, mostly. Because he seems to be the guy that's trying to protect that planet in particular. He seems to be the guy running it. Little does he know, it's actually Black Panther. Yes, Thor has magic. So yeah, Thor. So would Mjolnir? Could he hit Superman with the Mjolnir, and would that hurt? Let me look that up. I'm going to Google that. Mjolnir. Mjolnir Stormbreaker Son. Superman. Can Superman pick up Mjolnir? Millionaire. Can Superman pick up Millionaire? I don't know. Is Superman worthy? What would make Superman not worthy? Zatar and Zatanna mess him up if they wanted. Thor has magic. Bongani, what's up? Why didn't they use the Time Stone to reserve Iron Man's injuries so they could save his life? That's an interesting question. I'll tell you why, Bongani. I'll tell you why. because they couldn't undo what happened. Because if they undid him doing the snap, this is exactly why. If they undid Tony Stark doing the snap with the time stone, then they would undo Thanos and his army dying. So that has to happen, and it has to come to pass, and it has to, because whoever picks up the glove after that has to snap their fingers and do the same thing again, because it'll just reverse the impact that the stones had on Tony Stark. I loved that Spider-Man Far From Home really showed the impact. Throughout the movie, we keep remembering, oh yeah, Tony Stark was a huge influence on Peter Parker's life, and he was a huge influence on the planet Earth, and the planet Earth really loves the fact that they have a hero like Tony Stark. Tony Stark ultimately does become the savior of the planet Earth, which is his ultimate thing. He wants peace. He wants to be the savior. He wants to protect the planet, and he got what he fully realized his character motivation. So there are tributes and shrines built to Tony Stark because he is literally the savior of not only the planet Earth, but the universe. Think about that, guys. Tony Stark saved the entire universe in Avengers Endgame. Pretty neat. So, rightfully so, he is basically the martyr for the planet. What's up, Tyson? Welcome to Aristotle Full Throttle. Well, I missed the last thing you were mentioning on the Instagram chat. I couldn't catch it because it was just about I was counting the seconds while I was getting those words in. So if you can, remind me what you were saying in the chat room there. Superman apparently can lift Mjolnir. Interesting. So if Thor were to try to whack Superman, Superman would just kind of catch millionaire. I say millionaire because that's a lot easier for me to wrap my head around than Mjolnir. It just sounds like you're saying millionaire. It sounds like you're from Wisconsin and you're a millionaire. I'm a millionaire and I live in Wisconsin. I would say that the New Orleans accent is much better than the one in if you was up in the Midwest. If you were up in the Midwest and you was talking like that. The Midwest accent is very nasally. They're very much like this. Oh yeah, wood chipper. I suppose that's your accomplice there in the wood chipper. That's a good movie. Bogani, let's see. So he would reverse. But we've seen the time stone being used with precision and not just the area effect. I don't know. I can't get... Bogani, I hear you. I feel like they could have used the power of the stones. But I think the movie sets it up pretty well in Avengers Endgame because Thanos is permanently damaged. His whole arm is fused with the gauntlet. His whole arm is damaged at the beginning of Endgame because he used the stones 2 times and 2 times only, and it nearly killed him. And he's very mighty. He is a titan, and he couldn't reverse the damage on that. Even he couldn't reverse the damage. So they set up in that world of Avengers Endgame that damage will occur, and it is not fixable. And at the very end of Infinity War, they show that. They show him walking, and his arm is all crusty. He got a crusty arm. He got one good arm and one made of crust. And he's straight up. If you see that at the end of, and it says Thanos will return, guys. Remember that at the very end of Avengers Infinity War, it says Thanos will return because that is Thanos' movie. That movie is Thanos' arc. He is the hero of that story, or the anti-hero, but he's also the villain. It's a cool movie. It's cool. It's interestingly constructed because the arc, the person who accomplished, the character that accomplishes the main goal set out in the very beginning of the movie is the villain. He wins. And still feels like a satisfying movie. You're like, oh, all these heroes got killed. Half of them anyway. Except for the ones that were there the longest, so that we can have some nostalgia in the next one for the people who started it all. Very good moves. Really smart moves on account of all the writing and the producing. Hey, this is It's a Trap Productions. Hey, Aristotle. I've been meaning to drop these live streams. Hope you're doing well. What's up, It's a Trap Productions? Thank you for stopping by. We do them 5 days a week at noon. I might go to the beach on Wednesday, though, because the beaches are open and I need the beach. The beach to me is lifeblood. The beach equals life. I need to go to it. I need to have the sun on my face. And so this Wednesday, I might have to skip one of the broadcasts. But Monday's Memorial Day, if holidays mean anything to you, if time and space are working appropriately, you might even care that Monday is Memorial Day. And you might even want to have a tribute to the people in your family and in your life that you knew who may have died on the battlefield, who may have served in the military, family members who have helped preserve this country and our freedoms. You know what I find funny? I find it funny that so many people who love guns and think we need guns to protect ourselves will not wear masks during a pandemic to protect themselves and others. I think that's hilarious irony. Guys, if you were to write a movie, you couldn't write it any better. You'd say, hey, I think we need guns to protect ourselves. We need guns. We need to have all the guns. We need to stock up on the guns. What, you want me to wear a mask? No. I'm going to shoot the coronavirus. Infinity War is a better movie than Endgame to you. Oh my God, sacrilege. I cry every time I watch Endgame. I'm not afraid to admit it. Actually, I'm a little afraid to admit it, but I will admit it because I'm brave. I'm brave to admit that I'm afraid to admit that I cried. That doesn't make any sense, but that movie is just emotionally, I think to me, I could see what you're saying there, but to me, to speak English in Shakespearean, in the King's English, the Queen's English, as it were, to me, Infinity War is they're two different types of movies. They give me two different feelings, and that's what I like about the Marvel Universe, is that each movie occupies a different emotional space. If I watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I will get choked up every time when they show that funeral scene at the end. I will lose it. I will be sad, but happy but sad. When Yondu gets his tribute, come on now. When Sylvester Stallone shows up at your funeral, you would cry too. The beach is life, the beach is love. I could not have said it better. It's Trap Productions. This is why I destroyed the Infinity Stones, so that they'll never be used. Yes. He destroyed them. He used the stones to destroy the stones. That's the only way to cut a diamond, is with another diamond, I suppose. The only movie I cry during is the movie Babe, when at the end Farmer Hoggett says, "That'll do, pig, that'll do." Oh, that's a good movie too. Babe in the City. What is it? Pig in the City or something? Babe 2. That's a good one too. James Cromwell. What a name that is. What a face that guy has. You guys know who I'm talking about. James Cromwell. He plays the guy who invented warp drive in Star Trek 8. Anyone? Cochrane? He plays Cochrane, the inventor of warp drive. He creates first contact with, I believe it's the Vulcans, but was it Vulcans or Romulans that he first contacts? I forget. I know Anjan O is going to know the answer to that. I guess he meets Vulcans. They don't want to confuse us too much, but they do dress like Romulans, even though the Romulans and Vulcans are related in some way. Except some of them got funny foreheads. And some of them are even Denise Crosby. I'll call you Trap. What up, Trap? Like... That's Trap right there. I like Trap. Well, guys, this has been a lively discussion. It's been a spirited debate. I think, though, ultimately, it is unclear whether or not Superman's punch would affect Black Panther's suit. in any significant way. Although I do think Superman would have an advantage on account of having all of the power of the sun in his back pocket. Black Panther, however, highly technological, maybe will have some kind of. I don't think he would go out like a bee all that quickly. And when I say bee, I mean like a punk. I don't think he'll go out like a punk in that. I think he would generally. They would figure it out. They'd figure out Superman. See, he's good, but he's very straightforward. He's gonna use his might when he needs it. He's not necessarily gonna be the most cunning. He's gonna see something falling. He's gonna catch it. He's not gonna like say that thing's falling. What should I do first? Necessarily. Sometimes he will, but the fact that Lex Luthor takes advantage of the straightforwardness of Superman is great. But then again, Superman always comes up with a clever way to outdo Lex Luthor's plans. Superman always uses his powers in an interesting way to overcome Lex Luthor, to foil the plans of Lex Luthor. Zephram Cochrane, that's it. Zephram Cochrane. He's a great farmer and great inventor of warp drive. That guy, though, I tell you, his whole face is like he's like a Norman Rockwell painting walking around. Sam Rockwell painting. Well, guys, thank you so much. I think that the future of the DCEU, to wrap things up, is uncertain. It's unclear. I would like to see Henry Cavill come back for one more Superman movie. I think that would be a really good choice. I think that it would help us bring resolution to maybe that universe. Maybe he can just do one-offs as Superman, and they don't need to integrate all that Batman and Wonder Woman garbage. Not that it's garbage. Wonder Woman was good. I liked it. It's fun. I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984. The new Batman looks interesting. I think that Robert Pattinson is going to be a good choice. They had to stop filming, so they're on pause for a while because of, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's a pandemic. So please be safe. Wash your hands. Stay reasonably distant from other people. That means 6 feet or more. Wear a mask, for cripe's sake. Wear just a face covering. It's actually shown to be about 75% effective about spreading the virus. So if you want to go out, if you want to do things, if you want to see the world, do that. Just know that the 6 feet rule is so simple, guys. And I see people just not doing it because there's a relationship with science that the general public does not have in the United States in particular. We do not have a good relationship with how science works. We think we're trained to be suspect of the findings of things. We're trained to politicize the findings of scientific findings because we're like, oh, well, it's shown that certain types of meat or something like that aren't good for you. But then the meat industry is like, well, we got all this money. How do we do studies that will show that these types of meats are good for you in very specific ways so that we could politicize this and not actually have people be informed correctly on how to navigate their own lives and also protect themselves while simultaneously protecting others and having their own best interests, as well as we don't learn that it's in our own best interest to protect ourselves as well as others. We need to know that, but people don't seem to care. They'll just walk up to each other, pull their mask down, and start talking because they think or they don't think, whatever it is, they don't think in that moment. They're just like, oh, well, this is literally the moment in which things... This is the worst possible scenarios to be face-to-face with someone during an airborne illness and pull your mask down. Just know that it could happen to you. That's what this virus is thriving on. The inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed are those who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherd the weak through the valley of darkness. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. And then I'll shoot you 6 times. Sorry that I'm just randomly quoting Pulp Fiction, but I think it was appropriate. Now I'm going to go walk the earth till Monday, like Kane and Kung Fu, guys. I hope that you guys stay safe. I hope that you guys are well. I hope you guys are treating each other nicely. Yeah, I need to get a Batfleck mask. I think that's a good... See, I think we're all on the same page with giving Henry Cavill one more chance at the Superman deal. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, Trap, I feel you on Robert Pattinson, but I'll tell you something. Robert Pattinson gonna be all right. People were freaking out about Batfleck, but Batfleck turned out all right. We liked it. I liked it. I thought he was good. I think that the story of the next Batman is going to be compelling. It's not going to be just very, very visual and bro-like. Like, it's not going to be bro Batman. It's going to be thoughtful, cunning detective Batman. And when you have Robert Pattinson doing that, I think I like the more like slimmed down version of Batman, like not the overpowered muscular Batman. I like that Batman relies on his intelligence, his detective work, his technology, and his training of combat training. I don't think you need to be lifting all those weights all the time. I don't think Batman needed to be doing pull-ups all day. I think he just needed to be doing mental pull-ups every day. Well, y'all, thank you so much. Pattinson's gonna be fine. That's the future of the MCU, of the DCEU. We're gonna see. Thankfully, we've abandoned Jared Leto's Joker. It was a good try, Jared. However, sometimes when we swing for the fences, we strike out. But always swing for the fences, guys, because on that odd chance, you might just knock one out the park and get a grand slam. And I hope you all do that, or the equivalent of that, this weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle. Your bro in the know.